Let's see the Rambam, Hilchis Deis, Parak Aleph Halacha Beis. V'yesh ben kol deya v'deya ha'rechoyka mimena b'kotze ha'acher deyes beinani yazur rechoyka mizu. In between each deya, ben kol deya v'deya, each one of these deyas that we've been talking about, ha'rechoyka mimena, there's one that's always very distant from it, b'kotze ha'acher. Deyes beinani yazur rechoyka mizu. You're always going to have a spectrum, that you're going to have a guy that's a little bit angry, medium angry, very angry. The person born with these things, does he pick it up from his bad kids in school? Does he pick it up from his parents?
Nature versus nurture.
Right. So where does it come from? Some of these things, some of these days, this is how he's made up. This is how he's born. This is how he is. This has nothing to do with the parenting. This has nothing to do with the friends. This has nothing to do with his job. Or the school. This is who he is. Some people are more vulnerable to getting certain kinds. Got the word for it. There's a clinical term for it. A person is more prone to getting to pick certain things up. Even in the world of addiction, right? Not a pretty place, but even in the world of addiction, some people are more prone to addiction because that's the way that their physical, biological makeup is.
Wow.
And so that means that they're more vulnerable when it comes to, let's say, trauma or something like that.
Right.
So it's going to be easier for them to fall into the trap of this. Much faster, certain midas, certain days he's going to pick up quicker than other ones. Some people are not born this way. He got influenced by his environment. And here's where the person himself comes into play. Maybe he made a conscious decision that from now on I'm always getting angry on Tuesdays. I hope not, but...
So this is very indicative and implicit on whether or not a person, again, are they prone, they have higher proclivity towards one item, another item, and as such, consequentially, their responsibility. Does it fall to them, or is it their nature? This is the...
Right.
This is the classical argument. Is one responsible for their actions, emotions, thoughts, and how they...
What exactly are we responsible for? So if you talk to some people, they'll say, well, that's just the way they are.
Exactly.
So,
I grew up in Harlem, so the guy became
just like the bears and the monkeys in the zoo, a monkey goes and pokes another monkey in the eye. He's not going to be held responsible for it.
Exactly.
But he's a monkey. That's what he does.
Okay.
So the problem is with us, if we view ourselves as monkeys, then that's exactly what our level of responsibility is going to be.
But it sounds like Masham over here, there's teva, there's the nature of a person.
1,000%.
And there's also that he picks up from his friends, and there's also what came in his heart. So the last one's goes in. So what comes in his heart. So that sounds like it's putting his, the achrayus on his own volition, on his own choice.
Right.
Versus finger pointing. Versus it's this, it's that,
Yeah. This definitely makes a good discussion. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So where we at? V'yesh oishin nifnal hen me'atzmas v'machshava shal sablibay. A person reads a book. A kid reads a book. Yeah. A little kid, 10-year-old kid picks up a book and reads a book. He's going to get some ideas in his head.
100%.
And me'idach gisa, the opposite is true also. It has nothing to do with books. One time I asked my father, my grandparents were very close to Avigdor Miller. And so my grandfather's name was Avigdor. So my grandmother said that my grandfather one time said that the only reason why my grandmother agreed to marry him was because his name was Avigdor, like Rabbi Miller. Yeah, he said this in public. It's actually very funny.
That would make sense.
Anyway, so I one time asked my father. I said, I don't understand. Rabbi Miller was like he was like real his own man. Like, where did he get his ideas from? you can't open up a book and find these ideas. But that's the way he spoke about them. Where'd he get it from? My father told me a great answer. He said, "Listen, if you would go on a walk for 2 hours every day just thinking, you would also come up with ideas." And it's a fascinating thing, how much time. And it's not really the time for it now, but how much time of our day do we actually spend nothing going on, just thinking? One of my rebbeim, he doesn't like giving rides to people in the car, especially going up to the mountains, because he uses that time to think.
Wow.
Right? To think of learning or to think stam. Right? But, we don't. The idea of thinking is so foreign to us. I'll tell you the truth. I've been very, very busy this year. This whole year, I've been extremely busy. I'm Baruch Hashem had a job that kept me very busy. Baruch Hashem. I'm thankful for it every day. Right? But L'maisa, my time to think was limited.
Sure. Because
I was busy with my job. Right? So...
The rabbis to drive up to the mountains.
Yeah. So... It doesn't say that he read it in a book. It's lefi machshava. It's a thought. A thought that popped in. She'alsa b'libay. He heard the people schmeezing around that this is a good day, this is what's popular, maybe this is what's proper, this is a good way. And he decided that this is what he hears, this is what the people are saying, that this is a day of taiva that he should choose, and this is a mahalach hachayim that he should choose, and he was he accustomed himself to this until he put it into his heart. Until he established this idea in his heart. Let's go to halacha gimel as well. The two polar opposites on the furthest apart from each other on the spectrum is no good. Einon derech tova is no good. And a person shouldn't go with them, and a person shouldn't try to teach it to himself. But if he finds that his nature is pulling him towards one of the ksavais, one of the extremes, or he feels more prone, he doesn't feel schlepped, but he feels like he's more vulnerable to end up on such an extreme, or maybe he was naig with a certain extremism. He should make himself go back to the good ways. And he should go in the good ways, and that's a straight path. And we know that the halacha daled haderech hayishara he mid the beininus shebachol deya v'deya, mediocre, not too extreme, and not too blah, not too bland, right? Mikol hadeya sheish le'adam. But realize, here's the thing. Here's where things get very complex. In the world at large, let's take anger for example, right? It's from here to there, right? This wide is the spectrum of anger, right? So everyone should be in the middle. Exactly over here. This is where everyone's at.
Different degrees.
That's not true. That's not true. For me, maybe I'm so calm and nothing can bother me, and not even that I'm calm. I'm just so out of touch with what's going on around me. I never get upset about anything, right? Because I don't care about anything. People get angry because they care. Now, many times they care about the wrong things, right? But things don't go their way because they want it to be a certain way, and they get all caught up in it, and that's what's going to cause them to get angry, right? So if the pshat is that for me, because I almost never get angry, right? So for me, I need to go. Meaning, if this is the midah that we're looking at, right? This is the day that we're looking at. Then technically speaking, I'll be pashtus. I would need to go all the way to push myself to the other extreme of being somebody who is quicker to get passionate about things. I say passionate about it because Reb Tzadok writes, as we mentioned last week, that Reb Tzadok writes very, very stark on the Gemara of Impagabach Menuvel Zeh Mashchel B'Smedrash. The Gemara Kedushin says that if the Yetzer Hara starts up with you, bring him to the B'Smedrash. What good is the Yetzer Hara in the B'Smedrash? If I care to, you run him outside the B'Smedrash. But to utilize the kaiches of the Yetzer Hara, l'tzara kedusha, l'tzara toif.
Exactly.
So he uses the example of a person who gets angry, so it means he's a very passionate person. He has a fire burning in it. So what do you do? Passion. What do you do with the fire burning inside you? Go burn down your neighbor's house? Chas v'sholom. No?
Depends on the neighbor.
Yeah, but you can, ignite a spark in others also. You're a very motivated, inspired person. You're a very passionate person. So share your passion with other people. But Reb Tzadok writes that a person whose tendencies are to get angry, he should use his passion for tefillah. Take it to use to connect to Hashem. I think that's
interesting.
Yeah, a therapist don't tell you that. That's what Tzadok says to them. Yeah?
Interesting. That's a new angle. I like that angle.
Yeah, and he goes through each mitzvah, like what you could use it for, l'tzad ha'tov.
But I heard Rambam one time say, he says that if someone has anger, they have to go to the other side, complete other side.
That's true. We're going to see that.
Anger is not even, you can't even have a little bit of anger because it's so deadly and it's so toxic. When they say that when someone's anger, it pulls all the other worlds.
It's a Gemara.
Right.
Kol hakayis kol mina gehenim sheltem by.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So why is it by the way that kol hakayis kol mina gehenim sheltem by? It doesn't necessarily mean in a supernatural sense.
Right. Because they lose their head basically.
There's no more. The seichel goes out. I'm not even talking about where Chaim Vital writes and the Mekabalim write about when the neshama leaves and all kinds of things come. I'm not even talking about that. On a simple the level, yeah. You know, after when the anger dissipates, when the person's calming down, right? How miserable he feels, how badly he messed up,
right?
And he yelled at his kids, or he yelled at his wife, or yelled at his guy in shul, or whatever it may be, right? How miserable he is. I mean, that's such a horrible feeling. Such a horrid feeling. That coming to get insulted by his b'shas ma'isa. Also, because there's no more seichel, there's no more das. He's completely out of control, and it's a paka to watch. You ever watch somebody get angry? They when they lose it.
I don't know. Lose it? No, very rarely. But I've seen it. Yeah.
I've seen it too. It's not pretty.
No.
It's not pretty.
You're right. It's scary. It's a scary.
And a person has to keep that in mind, because if he knows what he looks like when he gets angry, it's a big deterrent.
Absolutely.
It's a big deterrent.
But I know somebody that got a disinvite to from shul because of that situation.
Yeah.
So the guy lost it, and they gave him like a notice. That,
it's a sakana to be around people. You know, don't drink and drink and drive. Right? The Gemara says that Adam nikar b'shlosh dvar, b'shlosh dvar Adam nikar, b'kisei b'kaisei b'kasei. Right? The Gemara equates getting drunk with anger, and both of them is because a person has minimal control over his faculties.
Correct. Yep.
All right. I think we'll stop here. Next time we'll be managed with Halacha Da'ot. All right.